So it kind of, it opens up such a diverse range in terms of who we're talking to and dealing with. But like I say, we'll help anybody. It doesn't make a difference for us, male or female. We'll help whoever needs the help. So
a question I wanted to ask about miscarriage. Obviously, I'm not as educated in the topic, but I think there was a celebrity that went through it. I think she's from Made in Chelsea, and I think she posted something on Instagram, and I don't think there was some positive feedback and obviously negative, because people thought that, you shouldn't post something like this, but she thought that it might have been the right moment to post it, because I think celebrities kind of are trying to think of a word that they assume, because they don't go through stuff, that they just live life that as though it's fine, but really they go through stuff behind the scene. And I think what I wanted to ask was how come some celebrities aren't as open when it comes to going through miscarriage, or they don't want to talk about it, or is it because they're afraid of that they might get I don't know, public shame or something?
Absolutely. And I think you hit the nail on the head there in terms of what it is. I think when you live in that celebrity lifestyle, I think it's a case of they might be more disinclined to open up, because they think, they're just doing this for sympathy, especially if stuff has gone on in the past, if they've had bad press in the past, and now they've gone through a miscarriage or stillbirth, pregnancy loss, and now all of a sudden they're like, we've been through a miscarriage, we're going through a sad time, whatever. People look at that as like an R factor, kind of like, And I think that's one of the things that would come with that, is that they might think from a celebrity point of view that they're doing it for that factor to try and boost their credibility as such. But why should they not talk about it? Of course they should. If they're upset, because the thing is, if they actually post publicly about the miscarriage or the stillbirth or pregnancy loss or whatever, it stops people asking the question. Because if they don't, and they've got friends who don't know what's going on, it might be, you're right, how's your pregnancy going and stuff like that, when they might actually had the pregnancy loss 2 weeks before. So opening up and sharing more about it, I'm all for it. If people are willing to engage and actually put it out there. Yes, it's not a nice topic to talk about, but at the same time, it is about just raising that awareness and letting people know, it is all right to talk about it. With regards to the guys from Made in Chelsea, we've done a bit of work with a company called Bloss, who are quite new, and that's Binky Felstead from Chelsea, who's part of that. And that was another company who we done some work with in terms of how do they engage and interact with their male followers. And there's a whole host of things. I think it's going to continue, whereby we'll do some more work with them at some point as well. But it's a difficult topic to talk about, and like you say, from a celebrity point of view, I think there's always going to be people who are going to have negativity. I got a lot of negativity on LinkedIn when I first started this, in terms of why is a guy set this up? Why have you got a group called Miscarriage for Men? All this type of stuff. But then I'm quite strong-willed, so negativity, I'll just brush it off. I'm not concerned about that, because yes, I might have 8 or 9 comments on there that are saying, you're a man, deal with it, kind of thing. But there's 90 other thousand people who've commented who are saying thank you for doing this. So it's kind of, you kind of have to weigh that up. And it is one of them where you're always going to end up with negativity. Obviously, with celebrities, though, you're more in the limelight, and it is a case that you are going to get that negativity, because people are like that. Some people don't like, Freddie Flintoff, for instance, but others might love him. And those who don't like him will automatically have that negativity towards him if he came out and said, me and my wife have gone through this, touch wood never happens. But, that kind of, you're in that kind of scenario. If somebody already doesn't like that celebrity, they're not going to think twice about leaving a negative comment on there.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I think one thing that does highlight is the lack of education there is around things like miscarriage. So, for someone to post, a celebrity to post something around miscarriage, I think is really powerful. It's quite a vulnerable position to be in through miscarriage anyway. So to have the strength, I think, to post about that and sort of raise the awareness. I think unfortunately part of, I guess, being a celebrity in that public forum, you open yourselves to both the positive and the negative. But I think you look at those negative comments and think, is this somebody that just doesn't understand, hasn't been through this, maybe can't relate, that perhaps isn't educated around miscarriage and therefore doesn't really, as we were saying earlier, doesn't understand that the journey someone might have been through before that took place. And I think, I think it's a huge sort of position of strength for someone to be able to post, and for someone that is in the limelight to post something like that. I think it serves the just cause that we're kind of pushing, that actually there is a lot more that can be done, and hopefully this is just the start of it.
I think just on that, there's no reason that anyone from a celebrity point of view should post anything personal. They shouldn't have to. If they choose to, fine, not a problem. If I post something on Facebook that's personal, my mum's probably going to comment it, and that'll be about it. No one's going to. If they're doing it, that's 1 million people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of risk to take on if you want to do that. So fair play, whoever from a celebrity point of view has the courage and bravery to do that.
Exactly.
It is going to do exactly what David said. It's going to put the stigma away a little bit from talking about miscarriage. So yeah, there will be some negativity, but same with Chris. It was eight comments and 90,000 people. It's probably 80 comments and 900,000 people. For a real celebrity. So yeah, it's brave of them, but it will help break down that stigma, and that's what we want to do as well.
One of the good things that's coming out of it, or not a good thing, there's never a good thing to come out of pregnancy loss, but you're seeing more and more celebrities who are opening up about it. You're seeing it with Meghan Markle, you're seeing it with John Legend and his wife. These figures coming out and talking about it is what we need. Because they're open about it and they're happy to talk about it and explain the story behind it. Like you say, if a celebrity wants to do it, fair props to them, because it is going to be one of them, like you say, a million comments within the space of 20 minutes, if that,
Sure.
And if they're prepared to open up and talk about it, great. If that can raise awareness and the story behind it, I'm all for that, because that is what we're ultimately trying to achieve here, is to let people know, you can talk about miscarriage and pregnancy loss and stuff like that, without being ashamed to do so, and don't ever be ashamed to say that you're hurting, because, it's a natural phenomenon, happens every day in life. And you were talking before about people who are strong and don't necessarily want to talk about. For me, the strongest ones are the ones who talk about it, because, they're putting that fear at the back of their mind, and they're actually generating their thoughts and actually getting it out there that, it is, yes, I am hurting, but at the same time, I'm determined to make a difference here.
Yeah. And I think, that celebrity thing, I think another thing that's come to my mind is, you mentioned kind of the celebrities kind of envisioned as this perfect life, nothing really ever goes wrong. You've got the fame, the money, everything you could ever wish for. And I think posts like that, and the celebrities we've mentioned, it's a sense that it's real, it happens, it's life, even being a celebrity, it doesn't matter, it doesn't, pregnancy loss and miscarriage, it doesn't kind of choose based on how successful you are, how famous you are, it's happened. And I think it's great that, it gets the coverage it does from the celebrity kind of personnel as well as kind of people like us that have been through it, because it is reality, and it's a sad reality, but one that I think definitely opens the door for more discussion. So good comes from it.
The big thing with that is you look at the figures around miscarriage and pregnancy loss, 1 in 4. We're 5 people sat in a room, and 3 of us have been through it. So it's it's one of them where it does need to be publicised more, and it needs to be talked about more in a more open forum, because like David saying, it's part and parcel of life. You can be a celebrity and have the best medical care in the world, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. So fair play to these celebrities who are willing to open up and say, I've gone through this, just know you're not alone type thing. Is I think it's outstanding and commendable that they're prepared to put themselves in that public limelight and do so.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what we need to remember a lot of the time, especially amongst celebrities anyway. People have this, people put them on a pedestal. People think that, they're human as well. That's, you can't think that they don't, because they have fame and money, that means they're immune from stuff we all go through.
Yeah, absolutely.
People forget that, but like it's important that there is no awareness. It's important what you guys are doing, because as I said before, it's all education. That's all it is. All education, educating people about these things, and from what we discussed, like, you've been 6 months in, so who knows where you're gonna be in the next 6 months, and I just wish you guys all the best with everything you guys are doing. I just hope more men continue to open up, talk, and benefit from all that you guys are doing. But just as we wrap up, where can people find the Miscarriage for Men in terms of socials or the website and things like that?
Yeah, so obviously we've got the website. Obviously we can share the link with you guys anyway, so we can put it on. But obviously we're www.miscarriageformen.com. And then on the social platforms, we've got a Facebook page, which is the same. It's the same logo, and the same on Twitter and Instagram as well. We're not as active on Twitter, but certainly on Instagram and on Facebook page we're active. And then come across to the website. The forum's there. It doesn't close. It's open all the time. And someone will get back to them as soon as possible, and thank you for inviting me down.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
I think I speak for all of it that 6 months down the line I'd love to do this again and update people where we are again, and how we've moved on from there.
Yeah, definitely. We're always, like we always say, we're always happy to have guests as much times as we want. Always happy to see the growth and continue doing the good work. But I know you guys were already in London, but thank you guys for at least making the time come sit with us and have this chat. It's been a pleasure, and I hope everyone who's been watching and listening definitely take something away from it. And it's actually good because this is going to be out on the, I think it's the 9th to the 15th of October. It's Baby Loss Awareness Week.
Yep.
So I think that would be good, again, just spreading awareness.
Absolutely.
Of course, it's more than it takes more than just a week to learn about these things, but at least in that moment people can understand a bit more from the men's perspective as well about what goes on, because men, it's not us versus them, but men, we go through things as well. Obviously, we can't understand every single aspect, but it's just good to learn. So thank you guys, man.
No, thank you for inviting us down.
Appreciate you guys coming.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think that's about it. We ran a little bit over time, but
I think that happens though, doesn't it? When you're in that environment,
yeah.
You're when you're in that environment, you actually. And it's not my fault.
It's fine. I'm glad, honestly. Thank you guys, man.